Welcome to the Out in Westchester podcast. We are coming to you from Sonora at 179 Rectory Street in Port Chester, New York. SonoraRestaurant.com. They're celebrating 20 years, and Monday through Thursday they're doing 20% off summer dinners. So come on out. My name is Frank Pellegrino. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Liz Wadolski.
Hello, everyone.
Good choice. This place is absolutely beautiful.
It is beautiful, and the food is fantastic.
This week,
just wait till you try what he has.
I can't. I've never been here.
I know.
Again, this is 2 out of 3.
I am getting you out in Westchester.
You are.
It's about time.
Yeah, and all the food is good so far we've been to.
Yeah.
And I'm sure...
you're going to love this one.
I can't wait.
This might be some of my favorite food. It's tapas and Latin. So he's got a great paella. He's got great appetizers. He's got great oysters. I had this oysters mofongo. Oh my God, it was so good. I hope we get some of those. And this grilled octopus. It's a nice... He's got steak and fish. He's got a nice mix. And he does a really great vegan menu for those that don't like to eat any meat.
Right.
Phenomenal. The eggplant meatballs were my favorite.
And he's just bringing out what he wants us to try.
Yeah, I asked him just to do that. That's probably
cool.
Simpler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get a real shot at, what the best of the best here. Mm-hmm. We're joined by 2 guests this week. To my right is a young comic that I've gotten to know over the last year and a half at Lucy's Laugh Lounge. Peter Clark-Deutsch is here with us.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you, too, for having me. I feel so weird. I'm right in the middle of you two.
You are.
I feel like I'm invading this podcast right now.
Not really.
After you listen to our podcast, please go and check out Peter's podcast, 2 Mic Minimum, and that's on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, everything?
Yeah, everything. SoundCloud, iTunes, well, not iTunes, Apple now, because Apple, Spotify. Spotify's the big one. Stitcher, TuneIn, anywhere you can find a podcast that I know of,
What is your podcast about?
So this podcast I host with my other comedian friend, Sean Barry, and basically we're very new. We're going to release episode 4 will be released by the time this comes out. But basically we're 2 comics and we want to talk about comic stories. So what the premise has been is we've found stories from different local scenes all around the country. Like, it's not comedy news as in what this famous comedian is doing. It's comedy news as in so this happened in this scene in this part of the country, and they're usually humorous stories, and we like to riff off them and kind of show people what smaller scenes are like in comedy, because I feel like people aren't really aware of what comedy's like from like a really low level standpoint, and basically what we wanted to do is we want other comics to submit their stories, to submit like funny things that happened in their scenes, and for us to like read them on the podcast and have us give them a shout out for it, and just have a good laugh. I do enjoy doing it. I think the latest episode 4 is our best one yet. We're getting to the groove of things.
As are we.
Yes.
I like that because a lot of the comedy news that people get for the most part are either from Joe Rogan, Legion of Skanks, or Jim Norton and whatever's on Sirius XM now. Yeah. So it's nice that you're tapping like a completely different area of this is what real comedy is.
Yeah, and it's very interesting too, like what happens in just a scene out in Indiana, out in an area
Westchester.
that exactly Westchester too, out in an area that no one knows us.
Shameless plug.
In the latest episode, someone sent us a story from their scene outside Chicago. So it's very interesting to talk about, and I think it's very interesting to put the perspective that we have, because we're in that low tier as of now, and kind
very
of
cool. I have to check that out.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll link it when we put this out. We should definitely link to his podcast.
Absolutely, yeah. Right. And we have another special guest to your right, Liz.
We do. We have Neal Gerard from FDR Drive Band.
Hello.
How long have you been around FDR Drive?
FDR Drive has been around for about 14 years now.
14?
Yeah, about 14 years. Yeah, give or take a few.
Yeah, and you're the guitar player.
I'm a guitar player, band leader. I do chief cook and bottle washer. I do everything.
You do everything.
I do everything.
All the planning.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
all the weddings.
Band manager too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a full-time job. It's really a full-time job.
They play like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
At least.
3, 4, 5 sometimes.
Right, and they go all over. They play in Queens.
I see your band's name pop up All the time.
All the time.
Everywhere. Every group. It's FDR Drives here and there. How many gigs would you say you guys are doing a month in the Westchester area?
From about May to about September is our busiest. We can do anywhere from 3 to 5 gigs a month, sometimes 2 a day.
Wow.
Sometimes 2 a day.
Wow.
Like 2? So like an afternoon gig and then a night gig?
And a night gig. It depends. We have a good sound company that we work with, Redgate Sound. They have several sound systems. And normally, if we had 2 gigs, he can set up one sound system somewhere else, and we can just pack up real quick and go to the other gig. And he has the second sound system and a whole second crew set up over there. And usually that's the way it works. Or we'll play at one of the casinos where you don't need a sound system. You just take your amp and go and plug it in, and you're ready to go.
We were talking about, I'm sorry.
And your website's fdrdriveband.com.
fdrdriveband.com, and on Facebook we're FDR Drive Band.
Right. And on your website you have promotional videos, how to get in touch with you. You do
Exactly,
weddings, special occasions.
Yeah,
You'll do as much as you can. Do you want to mention the people in the band real quick?
Sure. Right now in the band is myself on guitar. I have Adrian on keyboards, Neal on drums, another Neal on drums, and Phil on bass. They're all unbelievable musicians, and the front line is the best. We have Marianne up front on vocals. We have Johnny and Louie,
and those 3 vocals really can cover any song that anybody wants to play
all
or
different
hear.
genres and
Yeah.
everything. They can run the gamut.
Do you have a set list? How does that work?
We have a lot of songs we can do. In our repertoire, there's several hundred songs, because at weddings you do more standards and stuff like that.
Right.
But when we play the clubs and the outdoor venues and everything, we gear it towards the venue. Like some venues have a little older clientele, and we'll play some older disco or Motown music,
right.
and stuff like that. Then we'll play some. What's been really going over great for us is the freestyle music. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a musician, and I just can't believe the way we start playing these songs that I never heard before, and the entire place is singing them.
Yeah.
What's a freestyle song?
It's just a different genre of music, just like country, jazz. Freestyle is just like that club music with that.
They mix it up.
Yeah.
And you play a lot with other bands?
We play with other bands.
Right.
We mostly
doubleheaders?
Mostly we do doubleheaders with Sue and the Fun Ghouls.
Right.
They're good friends of ours, and we've started doing like maybe about once every 3 months we'll do a gig together with them, and it's been really like snowballing. We get
Packed.
over 300 people.
It's incredible.
Some of the clubs we play, there are lines outside to get in, like 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, turn people away. It's just been out of hand.
And there's a charge at the door,
There's
right?
a charge at the door.
Right.
Usually $10. That's the way the band gets
for
paid.
both bands.
And-
for both bands.
Yeah.
So one set will be FDR Drive Band, and one set will be Sue and the
we
Fun
both
Ghouls.
play dance music. Both
Right.
bands play dance music, but
Right.
they play a little bit dance music differently than us, and the people love it. They eat it up. They
It's
come
really
and
nice.
they play. They listen to our music. They listen to their music, and it's
And
just
it's nice to have all those musicians
yeah.
sort of around supporting each other.
Oh, yeah.
I
Le-
love that about
the
about
last set.
you guys.
We usually jam the 2 bands together, and
Yeah.
and we'll play together.
Right.
It's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad you're here, because last week we talked a lot about local venues and
I heard.
bands and stuff, and I learned that one of the best sounding places is the winery at St. George, Mohegan Lake. I heard it's absolutely
we
incredible.
performed there. We actually shot our video there, and when we were going to shoot the video, I thought it was going to be horrible because the place is so big, and I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be a cavernous sound and everything, but it turned out to be really, really nice. It's a nice venue. It's a really nice venue. Yeah.
And I have that promotional video on my website, outinwestchester.com.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Another thing we learned about last week was, unfortunately, whether it's comedy or music, some places you make deals with, and you're a band manager, so you could probably relate. You make a deal with somebody, and it doesn't come through. And you look at the envelope, and it's $100 less or $200 less. And
Yeah, and the sad thing about that is when the place does really good and there's like it's packed to the gills, they don't give you extra money. Very rarely does a club owner hand you extra money, but it's very disappointing to go in there thinking you're going to make X amount of dollars, and they try and stiff you or hand you less money at the end of the night.
has that ever happened to you?
It's happened to me. I've been doing this for a long time. So it's happened to me a few times, but not as of recent, and I usually try and take care of it and work it out with the club owner, and it works out.
How do they justify it though?
They don't, even when the place is crowded. I don't know what their rationale is, but the people weren't drinking, they were drinking water. Come on, man, I was watching everybody was drinking.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you, everybody was drinking water, nobody was drinking. So
Well, there's one thing. You're an ex-cop, right? New York City?
yes.
Police officer. So you don't mess with
I told her
Neal Gerard.
I told her a funny story the other day. We played at a place that's no longer in business, maybe about 7 or 8 years ago, and there was several cops in the band, and the guy at the end of we had a nice crowd in the place, and at the end of the night, the guy tried to stiff me, and when I told him I want my money, he says I don't have it. So, long story short, I talked to some of the other guys, and we talked to him, and we says, you're going to go get the money. And he went to the bank, and he got the money, and he paid us.
Wow.
I mean...
Were your guns in your hands?
No. Nothing like that. No strong arming and nothing like that.
Okay.
Ex-cop, now mafia member.
No. You just we have the power. If we get all the like that site that Shredder from Sue and the Fun Ghouls put together, bands out in Westchester, and that's
There's
about
a group
that specifically
on Facebook.
was made for one of the venues that you talked about last week.
Correct.
And
that is also out of business. That was Ormonk House that stiffed somebody.
Exactly.
That's out of business as well. So
Exactly. And what's good about that is we can get the word out and we can hurt a business, and that's the way you do it. You don't muscle anybody. It doesn't pay. You're not going to get anywhere, but we do have the power to spread the word and maybe cut his business down or something like that,
Yeah, and it's similar with comedy because I've produced shows in venues where, it's a flat rate and we're looking to try and do a monthly comedy show and, they don't staff it properly. They're not doing all the right things that were negotiated beforehand. They don't turn off the televisions. And obviously that's different with a band, but with comedy you need to turn off the TV and the radio, obviously.
Yes.
And a couple times it happened where, nobody really drank. And I'm like, that's not my responsibility to staff your restaurant. It's
Exactly.
I'm here providing a service similar to a DJ or a band. I'm giving you a comedy show for X amount of money.
Right.
You need to do the rest on your own.
Right. You're the entertainment.
Well, how
You're
many
not in
people-
the
how many
restaurant
people
business.
can you
You're
bring,
in the
they ask?
entertainment business.
They asked that.
How many
And
people? Well, then I say, well, how many people does your restaurant draw?
It's a great
or does your venue draw?
Yeah.
It goes both ways. It goes both
And
ways.
the other thing is the restaurants really should advertise these events, and they don't really do a good job. They really depend on the bands to do all their advertising.
Exactly.
And then to pull that at the end of the night is just
It's
just
very
not-
disappointing
it's not
and
right.
unprofessional.
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't want it done to them. There's this thing that goes around on all these Facebook websites about, if a club owner says, "Oh, come and play for me for this little bit of money, it'll be great exposure."
Right.
Well, let me bring 40 people to eat in your restaurant and charge us half the price or a quarter the price. It's good exposure for your restaurant. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I mean, they don't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't go both ways.
No, it doesn't go
Anytime.
both ways. It doesn't go both ways.
But last week we did learn that Westchester Burger Company in Rye has done this before. They stiffed a band. When we put the video out,
Yeah.
we've gotten responses from other artists.
I didn't want to say a name
I know, but
You
it was
dragged it
true.
out of me.
I barely dragged it out of you.
pretty quickly.
You immediately said it's a burger joint.
Well, I'm glad that there were a lot of responses from people and
Because it
backed up
validates
my
things, yeah.
story, and I'm not making it up. And it's not just them; it happens at other places, and most people don't know that happens. And the fact that the bands are coming in, and it's not just playing. You got to pack your stuff in your car, set the stuff up, test the PA.
Right.
Then once you're done at the end of the night, you got to get your money. You got to it's like literally 6 hours for not a hell of a lot of money.
One of the worst
Yeah.
parts of the night is waiting for the club owner to pay you at the end of the night. They
Right.
make you sit there and wait. Like,
Right.
there's some clubs that pay me like on the second set or something like that or before we're over. But most places pay you at the end of the night. You got to stand there.
So can you get paid before you play? Is that something that...
It's normally not the way it's done. I
Right.
mean, you can request it. You can request to sign a contract with them, but that's not the way it
Right.
happens in a lot of these venues.
Right.
The bigger venues maybe, but not the regular
Right.
bars and clubs.
yeah.
Right, because after you perform, that's when they want to pay you
Right.
for your service.
Right.
It's just like anything. It's like being a waitress or anything like that. When you provide a service, you expect a tip, or you expect to get paid.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
No one should be cheated.
I'm curious to hear what the owner said.
Oh, you want to hear that first? Or you want to hear the other people that were stiffed?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Which
go
one do you
ahead.
want first?
Both.
Liz, what do you want first?
Either
Whatever
one.
you have planned.
I didn't have a plan. Peter, pick.
Let's hear what the people have to say.
Yes, that's
the,
right.
the loyal listeners.
The loyal listeners. Duke of Duke's Laundromat. I don't know if you're familiar. You know Duke. No, not that Duke. You're thinking of-
the name is so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Duke.
Is that a band?
Duke of
Duke's Laundromat, yeah.
Yeah, it's a band.
Very nice guy. He actually runs the Tuesday Night Jam at Lucy's in Pleasantville. He said, well, this is in 2015 this happened. So this has legs. He wrote this as his Facebook status, friends and musicians. I was so looking forward to playing Westchester Burger Company. The audience was great and enjoyed the music. Staff treated us and our friends like crap, and the club stiffed us for some of our money. Totally disappointing. Stay away. It was the worst place we ever played, and not in a good way. I guess there was a lot of comments back and forth back then, and he would warn people when he'd see that. And he actually gave me details. Bobby was the guy that booked us. At the end of the night, the waitress, who was horrible to our crowd, gave us $300 instead of $400, which is still too cheap for music right now. She said, "You'll have to talk to Bobby." I went by 3 days later and found him there. We had never met, so it was by surprise. His response was, "You'll have to talk to the owner." I told Bobby if I don't get paid or a call in 3 days, I will blow it up on Facebook. Nothing happened. So every time I see a band post for Westchester Burger Company, I give them fair warning. So that's not the only one.
No.
Paul from Coverblind.
Yeah.
This happened to my band, actually. I was at a loss about how to go resolving it. We were short at Westchester Burger Company in December of 2018. That's just a few months ago.
Right.
After playing a full
He's the
night.
one that I heard it from, actually.
He's the one?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
To be fair, I have to say that the owner, chef of the chain, did respond to me and ultimately made things right with us, but it took a lot of effort, and we never received an apology from the person who caused the problem in the first place, which is what I really wanted more than money. I kind of understand that.
I do
if you
too.
get jerked around and you have to go through whatever kind of loopholes to get what you were promised, it sours the relation. Even if you eventually get it. I had that situation once with a place in Ridgefield, Connecticut, which is now closed. It took me 3 months to get paid my balance, and I had to
Right.
send an actual invoice to the guy.
Right.
Yeah, it's demeaning. It just shows they don't
Yeah.
care about what you're bringing to the venue.
So the recurring thing that keeps coming up with us telling these stories is all these places that did this are out of business. So obviously the club or the restaurant is struggling, and this is why they're passing down the
Well, then they shouldn't have
short.
bands.
Then they shouldn't
have
or
bands.
charge at the door.
Which is exactly what
Exactly.
Pete said last week about at Pete
Charge
Salone,
at
what they
the
do.
door.
Charge $5 or $10 and
That's
just
it.
hand that over and then pay the balance on your
Right,
own.
right.
Yeah, that's so simple. Just have a box and that's how I've done so many comedy shows where they do that.
Yeah.
When they do it at a bar or a place, they just have a box. And back in my school when I did shows at a bar, there would be a box that the bar owner had, and you just leave it out, and the patrons who come in would put in $5. You take the money out, and then you just divvy it up with all the performers.
Right.
It's like
You know what's
Profit
interesting? I went to go see the Blue Chips at Freebird Kitchen in White Plains.
Yeah.
And you ever see those long glass boots that you get sort of like at Christmas time? They actually had that on the dance floor in front of the band, and people were putting money in because they don't charge a cover there.
Oh.
Which was actually really nice. I don't know what they get paid or whatever, but it's sort of like tipping the band.
yeah.
And people were more than willing, because they were great, to give them money because they're enjoying it and we're dancing, we're having a good time.
That sounds...
The patrons are not cheap. We are not cheap. We
Right.
spend a lot of money at these
Yeah.
places when we go.
Yeah.
We're from Westchester.
Right. It's not like the food, the drinks are not cheap.
Some of these places
They're
charge
not.
$18 for a martini. I mean,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
You go out with a few people, have a few martinis, and the bills add up.
$100 easy for two people.
I like that way, though, because that gives the establishment a chance who maybe can't afford as much. Say, look, we can give you this much. It's not what you deserve. You deserve more. We'll put a tip bucket out, whatever that
Yes.
comes in.
That's a great idea, I think, right?
I think that's
thought that was
fair.
fantastic, considering our conversation from last week.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to bring that up.
I like that. Mm-hmm. And Freebird was actually recommended by one of our
We're going to be
listeners.
there. We'll be there eventually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
We're going to do a podcast there.
So I did get a response from the owner's wife.
Right.
She commented, and this video's gotten, I think, about 2,000 views.
Like something like that. But it's obviously seen by the right person.
Yeah.
So,
I think her name was Michelle.
Yeah.
She wrote, "This is an unfortunate situation. The podcast truly hits home for me as well as my family. Westchester Burger is a family-run establishment just trying to make it in this crazy world like everyone else is. We are a small business, not a chain restaurant that could afford to eat a bad night," which is referring to what Bill Cannon said.
They're franchises.
They are.
But they're each individually owned by whoever owns them. But they pay for a franchise, franchise fee for the logo and all that other stuff.
Right.
I know there's one in Stamford, there's one in White Plains, there's one in Rye.
Mount Kisco.
Mount Kisco. I think those are the ones that are the closest to us. Yes.
Patrons of Westchester Burger are not paying for our yacht payment. They are feeding the mouths of our employees' families as well as our own. We live a very simple life just trying to make ends meet, so bashing us on social media really hurts us. Instead, we could have resolved this differently. Pay
But
the band.
They didn't attempt to. They didn't attempt to resolve it.
No.
So
But the topic last week was best venues to see live bands.
Right.
And we were talking about that, and then somehow this just came across my mind that some venues, even if they have live bands, and by the way, Westchester Burger has a great space, a separate
what someone wrote,
party
yeah.
room that you can rent out that they put the bands in. And it's been packed in there. I have seen plenty. I've seen one or two bands, and it's been packed, and they've made plenty of money with some of my friends when they're playing. But I don't understand how they can even justify not paying somebody what they said they're going to pay.
I mean, if they can't afford it, they shouldn't have bands in the first place,
Right.
right?
Well,
If they're losing money on a band, don't
Westchester
have a
Burger
band.
has a huge space over there, and they're in Rye, and I'm sure that their rent is extremely high, and I believe she actually told us what she was paying per month, which sounds very high, but
She did,
it is a
yeah.
very large restaurant. So,
Don't forget, there are always three sides to a story, folks.
Yeah, of
So she's
course.
addressing this to everybody, not just us.
right, of course.
I'm not exactly sure what happened on this particular night, but my husband is the owner of Westchester Burger, along with my brother-in-law, who runs the Rybrook location. If my husband knew of this, we would not have had to have been a topic of conversation. I understand what was done was not right. I hope it gets rectified. I think she's trying to say these brick and mortar establishments
Mm-hmm.
are not easy to keep alive, especially at $32,000 rent bill.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And that's monthly?
That's
Yeah.
monthly.
Wow.
That's a lot of burgers.
Think about how many burgers need to be sold.
Mm-hmm.
So before gossiping and spreading rumors, maybe you should think about the bigger picture: family, children, employees, jobs for many.
But it's not a rumor, it's a fact.
It's a
And
first-hand
that's
account.
all we were stating,
Yeah.
the facts.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen just once.
We're not saying, "Oh, I heard the owner does something."
So if it doesn't come from the owner, then who in the establishment is the one who thinks it's right that they should be able to cheat and short bands that are playing there or any entertainment,
right?
right? Then who is it?
I have had instances where the night wasn't what you expected it to be. It wasn't empty or anything, but the club owner comes up to me at the end of the night and says, "Listen, can we work a little bit?" Now, I'm not blind. I see that the registers weren't going like they should be, and I work out a deal. I see nothing wrong with that because I want to keep a relationship with that club owner, and I want to go back there. If he's not happy, I'm not happy. So
Right. Maybe they say something. Look, if you could settle for a little bit less this time,
I've done that.
promise
I
next
have
time.
I have done
Right.
that. I have done that, and it works.
Yeah.
And I respect somebody that does that.
Open
That is the
communication.
way to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I wrote back.
I know.
Oh shit.
You dirty nugget. I had to write back.
Yeah.
It was on my personal Facebook profile that she wrote it. So it wasn't on the Out in Westchester because I shared it onto my page. She wrote on mine.
Wait, did she message you or did she?
No, this was her whole thing was a
wow.
public comment.
Stay tuned, folks. We're getting into the drama.
Yeah, no, keep going. I want to hear what your response was and
okay.
what she had to say. Not yet.
Edit that part out. Yeah,
And
this
by the
was
way-
all public.
Yeah.
And at the end of it,
It's all on
Yeah.
Facebook. Yeah.
I have said, I appreciate you reaching out, but this is not spreading gossip. This is about accountability, responsibility, and the idea that you hire someone for a job, they need to be paid for that job. It's easy for you to mention the family, children, and jobs of many while ignoring the amount of money that was not given to the bands that was promised. What about their children?
Right.
It's very easy to say,
Right.
when you're in it, it's like, these are my employees. Like, yeah, but what about these people that for a night are your employees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since we posted the video, we've gotten 2 more instances of this happening at your husband's restaurant. We are simply having an open discussion about pitfalls of entertainment and restaurant business in Westchester. If your husband would like to come on the podcast to discuss this further, we would certainly be open to it.
Right.
She responded, "We would 100% want to make this right, and I agree. They deserve to get paid as well. We apologize for getting this far." So, as far as I'm concerned, this is an admission of guilt, and they're now sorry because it came on the podcast. I do welcome them to come and chat with us about this. Maybe we have, maybe if you'd like to sit in, or Duke from Duke's Laundromat to actually discuss how to avoid this going forward and kind of maybe clear their name a bit.
You just pay the bands. That's basically it. There is nothing to discuss.
And if you have a bad night and you can't pay the bands anymore, don't have bands, but at least fulfill your commitment for that night and eat it as a loss. What are you going to do?
Right. Pete, you had something?
That's business.
No.
That's business.
That's-
Some nights you have a great night, some nights you have a bad night, but usually it all kind of evens out at the end of the year.
I think it's about open communication and building trust with an establishment with bands.
Right.
I don't know.
And by the way, we're at Sonora Restaurant.
Yes,
at
we are.
179 Rectory Street here in Port Chester. And Rafael Palomino. Yeah.
Is that Italian? We have to ask him later.
I think he's Colombian.
It's an Italian last name,
He's
right?
got a really great accent, actually.
He does.
Yeah.
He was showing us, me and Peter.
He's Colombian. He's from Colombia originally. Yeah.
He was showing us pictures of him with Julia Childs,
I know.
Joe Biden,
And Rudy Giuliani.
and Rudy.
He's
Yeah.
amazing.
America's mayor.
He is so creative with food, and he's such an astute businessman. Now, this man knows how to run a business. Not only does he have this restaurant here in Port Chester, he's got 4 in Pennsylvania. He's got 1 in Hartford, Connecticut, and he's got
Florida, too.
Yeah, 1 in Florida. Correct. So he runs 8. There's 8 restaurants in 4 states.
That's something I need to check out. Is
Yeah.
I guess every Sunday they have a jazz brunch with live jazz music.
Live jazz,
Have you
and
been to that?
even Friday night. On Friday nights, I think he has a jazz on Friday nights with paella. Every night he has a different special. They're on his website. I'm going to have them on our website too at outinwestchester.com. He's just bringing out some new menus. He's got a great happy hour from 5 to 7. I think it's like $5 or $6 or $7, and the sangria is amazing. And he's got some really great mojitos.
I should have ordered sangria. I didn't even think of that.
Mojitos, and he's got an amazing martini that is mango. It's a mango martini. It's really good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Again, we are sitting here with Peter Clark-Deutsch, 2 Mic Minimum Podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Clark-Deutsch P. That's ClarkDeutschP.
Yes, you can also follow 2 Mic Minimum on Instagram and Twitter at 2micminimum.com.
Is
And
it all spelled out?
yeah, just 2 Mic Minimum. And also, I should mention this. So Sean Barry and I were planning on doing a decathlon as a thing to do for this podcast, because on one episode we argued about who could win in a 100-meter dash, and he was convinced he could destroy me in that. And I did track and field in college. I wasn't a sprinter, but like I was still, I did jump, so I was around the sprinting area, and I was like, Sean, I could take you on in 100-meter. And we had this idea of just like expanding this into this decathlon where people would suggest events for us to do that are like, something we'd be evenly matched in, but also something humorous. And at the end, we'll run 100-meter and see who is faster. I'm definitely faster.
And of course, both of you guys are Westchester born
Yes.
and raised.
Yes, I'm from Hastings-on-Hudson, New York. I'm from the river towns.
Yes.
I've been there my whole life. Still there.
Yeah.
23.
You're still young. You're still young.
Where's Sean from again? I think it was
Sean is Cortland. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Cortland. I should know. I've gone to this place like 5 times already. So, but
Neal, you're from Westchester, right?
No.
No, where are you from?
I live in Westchester now. I'm originally from Bronx, Arthur Avenue, born and raised.
That's Arthur Avenue.
Yes, and
I love Arthur Avenue.
Now I'm from Westchester.
Where in Westchester are you from now?
Now New Rochelle. I was in Pelham. When I moved out of the Bronx, I moved to Pelham, and now I'm in New Rochelle.
That's a very normal transition, isn't it?
Yes.
Bronx to Pelham to...
Well, I moved to Pelham to get my kids into good schools and stuff. And once they graduated high school, I was out.
Wow.
Another reason not to mess with Neal. He's from the Bronx, from Arthur Avenue, the Bronx.
I don't roll like that.
Yeah.
I'm quiet.
I have to say, your band's one of our favorites. We
Thank
always
you.
go out to see you. You get the party going. You're
Thank you
so
very much.
lively, and everybody just loves your songs, your mix. You get us all dancing.
We
It's a lot
try.
of fun.
We aim to please.
Yeah.
Do we know where FDR Drive is going to be over the next couple weeks?
We do. We do.
Is it in the trap?
We
got
do.
the paper. Before
Well,
we take a break,
well,
let's hear where you're going to be.
He's got so many gigs coming up. It's crazy. But his next two gigs are at Saxon Grill on Thursday.
Okay.
Which is a $25 cover card,
Right.
cover charge.
No, they're doing a ladies' night. If you pay in advance, it's $15 for ladies and $22 for men if you pay in advance. And we've played for him before in his other place in Putnam Golf. He puts on an amazing
Thursday
spread.
is
I
ladies'
heard
night
there's food
down there.
included for
Yeah,
this.
yeah, food, barbecue, all you can eat.
All you can eat barbecues included in that
you can eat
price.
barbecue.
So $15 to $22.
Yep.
You're getting
Right.
live music and all you can
and
eat.
the band, and the food is excellent. Excellent.
But it is outside, so if it's going to rain like it's been raining, then usually they cancel the events. So just double check on our website or even Facebook, because we sort of put it out there. We're also on Instagram, by the way, at Out in Westchester.
Nice.
At in Westchester. No, out in Westchester.
Out.
Out,
For all
no.
you kiddies out there.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Well, most people love Instagram
Plenty of
now.
people use Instagram now, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
All right, well,
pictures.
I guess
then.
we're going to try some food. We'll be
Yeah.
back, and I think the owner will be in, and
I wanted
we'll be
to
able to
finish
critique
plugging
it.
my dates.
Oh, please! I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just-
definitely,
Go ahead.
definitely. So on Wednesday, before the Saxon Grill, you're going to be in the Bronx again, Morris Park, right? Burger Time.
No, that's just Marianne and Anthony from Sue and the
Well,
Fun
maybe
Ghouls.
you have the big list over there. Why don't you read what you
Here's the big-
have?
I gotta
Because
put the
you know it
spectacles
inside
on.
and out better than I do.
Okay, so next Thursday, the 27th is Saxon Grill. Saturday is a private birthday party we're doing. Also Sunday is private. Then 4th of July week is a big week. We're at Clarkstown Fireworks Show in Nanuet High School. That's a big fireworks show on
Bring a
July
chair,
2nd.
right? Bring a chair,
bring a
bring a
chair.
blanket,
Blanket. If it rains, we'll be there the next day, the 3rd. July 4th, we're at Riverbank State Park. July 5th, we're at Brewski's in the Bronx. They just put out a whole new, made a whole new beer garden in the back, and we'll be playing on the new stage in the beer garden. And then Saturday, we're at Pier Restaurant and Tiki Bar again. Place gets mobbed.
That
Mobbed.
place is fantastic.
It's really fun.
Yeah, the Tiki Bar in Rye. It's
Yeah.
great. We love it.
I don't want to plug too much more because we'll be here all night. But that's good.
But please check out FDR Drive. Check out Peter Clark-Deutsch. Check us out. We are coming to you from Sonora, 179 Rectory Street in Port Chester, New York. We'll be right back. Back, by the way. Oh my God, we just ate so much food. I had a Coke, but I'll drink a sangria instead.
Oh, is it
Who
Coke?
had the other sangrias?
Did we order?
I guess I'll have it.
If you
I
can't
ordered
tell,
one.
the sangrias here, unbelievable. We're at
Unbelievable.
Sonora, at 179 Rectory
dear.
Street
All right.
in Port Chester, New York.
Wait.
We just ate paella, which I've never had before.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Drink
now,
it.
so
I'll drink
now,
this. I'll ask for another one. Paella. What else did we have?
We had filet mignon on flatbread. That was amazing.
We're joined by our wonderful producer and engineer, Andrew Steiner, by the way.
hi.
We had a
We had
guacamole,
oysters,
which was made.
mofugo, which is my favorite, which are like fried oysters with his amazing. His sauces are incredible. I don't know what he uses. And then we had fried shrimp on top of plantains.
I like that a lot.
Sweet plantains with another amazing sauce.
Yeah.
I'm blown away.
And then we had his famous paella following that with lobster and shrimp, mussels. They were really great.
And I lost a shrimp.
I gotta say that guacamole was, mwah.
Oh.
You could tell that avocado was like perfectly ripe.
And they made it right at the table.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
Yeah, guacamole really,
Even the
it's-
chips were delicious and warm and fresh.
Yeah.
It's all about the freshness of the ingredients.
Yeah, every great Latin place has a good guacamole, in my opinion. Really do. Yeah.
And this was some of the best, right?
I know, it really was.
We've been so far, Liz.
I booked the venues.
You're batting 1,000 right now. You just everything's out of the park. Sawmill Tavern, Pete's Saloon, and now Sonora. It's like, and you're hitting so many different.
Well, trying to hit different areas
Yeah.
and different types of food. And so people have an idea of what is out there because he does a lot of takeout here too and delivery.
Yeah.
His food's unbelievable. I just love it here.
One thing I learned about while we were eating was 2 weeks ago when we had Goomba Johnny on, we were talking about New Rochelle. We brought up, and such a small little thing, Billy Budd's Pub in New Rochelle, which is a really old hole-in-the-wall strip club in New Rochelle. It turns out that after we discussed it, Andrew happened to go there with a comedian friend of ours, Joe Matarese.
Yeah, you planted the seed in my head, no pun intended.
Oh, my God. So you went there with Joe just on a whim, or you were planning it?
We weren't planning it. We were heading back from the comic strip, and we were taking Pelham Road just randomly. And I'm like, hey, I heard about, you know about Billy Budd's? And we just stopped in. We found a parking spot, and there was a stripper in the doorway smoking with one of the patrons. And
Oh my God.
and it didn't look like a strip club. Like when we passed by, Joe was like, "Are you sure this is a strip club?" And because it's small, it's like a hole in the wall.
Right.
But sure enough, it's like a bar, right? And then there's maybe a divider, and then like literally 6 feet from the bar is the stage, and there's people stripping one person at a time.
One at a time?
One at a time.
Yeah. Wait your
Is
turn,
there a
everyone.
back room? Is there a back room?
I mean,
Dances?
You get lap
yeah, I
dance?
think so, but not too many people were taking them up on that.
What was the average age of the
I mean, there was
strippers?
one stripper who was probably in her early 20s, but then
Right.
there was another one who was probably like late 30s, and another one who was probably early 40s.
See, I always have this idea of Billy Budd's where it's like 75-year-old women just taking out their tits and that's it. And that wasn't the case?
No, and I think the bartender definitely used to be a stripper. Maybe on an off night she'll get on stage. Someone calls out sick, but
She's an understudy.
She's an understudy, exactly.
Waiting
she's
for
the
her turn.
maestro. She's the maestro.
Oh, my God. She's the mama-san.
But if the head violinist calls out sick,
Oh,
it's
was the place crowded?
it wasn't dead. There were like 7 or 8 people on a Thursday night.
All right.
But
7 or 8.
it was good vibes. Like I enjoyed myself. We watched the NBA finals. You know, the beers weren't overpriced. No one was pressuring us to get dances or watch the strippers. And it was dingy, but it was nice. It was like welcoming.
Wow.
Yeah.
After dark.
Liz, can we set up a podcast there?
I have
Yeah,
to go
you
check
guys
the
should.
place out.
Or get a Billy Budd stripper on.
Oh. Now,
There's
did
no
you get to
food.
talk to any of the
There's
dancers?
no food there.
I mean, one of them asked me for a light.
Yeah, do you have connections?
All I remember is
Can you get me out of here, please? I'm desperate, honey.
I mean, one of them did seem kind of sad.
Oh, what was her story?
I mean, she was stripping for her kids. I mean, I don't know that, but I'm guessing.
You mean so her kids were there? She was stripping for them?
Yeah, she had a pacifier. She had a mobile. She would turn the mobile over the people.
just made up a theory for a sad stripper.
Did she come out in a diaper?
You know what? If it worked, did you tip well?
I mean, we just got beers. We just snuck glances.
Oh.
We were those cheap guys.
Okay.
You didn't even
Now-
tip them.
I tipped the bartender. I mean, we didn't look. We weren't facing the stripper.
So there were 8 people there,
Yeah.
2 of which were you. So there's 6 people. So these girls did not make a lot of money. So I would be sad too if I was working there that night.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I mean-
and they're just there to watch the game.
Yeah.
Wait for the game. Buffalo Wild Wings around the corner.
Honestly.
The game.
I really commiserated as a comedian, like, cause I've done comedy while people are trying to watch the game, and I
Yeah.
felt like they were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, they were trying to show you their hoo-has, and I was more interested on the Raptors.
Well, it just goes to show you, Westchester has a lot to offer.
Yeah, yeah. I think, is that the only strip club in Westchester? It might be, right?
You know, Sue's Rendezvous, does that
That's
ring
gone.
a bell? All right, I don't know.
It's been gone. I work in Mount Vernon sometimes, and you see the big sign for sale or release, and it's a great location, too. It's like right in the middle of Gramerton.
I wonder if the poles are still up and everything.
I think I think that's got to be the name of the clip. The only strip club in Westchester. We got to research that.
Westchester's only.
Was there like an admission? Like, do you have to pay to get in?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
I spent $13, 2 beers, and no hassle.
There's got to be a lot of regulation, though. I mean, it's only topless.
Oh,
it's not,
right.
Only
it's the
topless, only
it's only
topless.
topless. You can't go like totally nude.
No.
And if there was totally nude, then you can't serve any alcohol. So
Right.
yeah, they probably drove Sue's Rendezvous out because there's so many regulations that go on, especially with the strip club nowadays.
Yeah.
I do want to.
Would you go back?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
Have you been back already?
no. But they were good at what they did. The strippers were like, she isolated one butt cheek. I was impressed.
I isolated
Just
a butt
made
cheek.
one butt cheek bounce.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, she's good.
Liz, can you do that?
I can.
Oh my God.
She knows.
We're going to Billy Bud's after this show. We're going to see how everything goes. Wow. Look at that. Out in Westchester.
Where's
Yeah.
the chef?
I gotta add it to my website now. Okay.
Wow. We are waiting for.
Hey.
Oh, here he is.
Here
Oh
he
my
is.
God.
Fantastic.
Amazing timing.
Great timing. So,
Here's Rafael is here.
hello.
We just got done eating 5 of your dishes.
Yes.
Again, we're at Sonora Restaurant
Yeah.
in
at,
Port Chester.
179 Rectory Street in Port Chester.
And his website is sonorarestaurant.net.
Thank you.
He has a prefix dinner. He's got happy hour. He's got dinner, lunch. He's got to go. You can order online.
We do catering.
Do a
Catering.
lot of catering. He's got a special menu
We'll
just for
drive you
catering.
home if we have to.
Good.
We'll drive you home if we have to.
Oh, Uber. Uber is for that.
Good
And I'm in
service.
over.
He's got an outdoor patio that's amazing, but I have to correct myself because his happy hour is from 4 to 8.
To 8 Sunday through Friday.
Right.
We also do catering. We got 2 private rooms upstairs.
Right.
They hold 100 people. One of them, the other one 30.
Wow, that's big. Do you get a lot of parties?
We do. Our clients are American Express, MasterCard, Pepsi,
Nice.
Wayne Reed.
I had you got to tell me about paella. I've never had paella before I had that. It felt like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm Italian, so I grew up with Italian food. It reminded me of a fruta de mare with like a Spanish rice.
It's like a seafood melange,
Okay.
Delicious.
a bouillabaisse,
Yes.
like the French call it, or like you call it, the Italians call it.
Yeah,
Delicious.
it was delicious.
Thank you.
You have 5 cookbooks. You're a man of numbers. 5 cookbooks, 8 restaurants in 4 states.
Yes.
Right? You do catering
You're
for
right.
private parties,
We do.
special
We do,
occasions.
We
You oversee all of the business of all of these 8 restaurants in
Yes.
these 4 states. You're here. You take care of the customers. You're booking parties. How do you do it all?
and I play golf.
You play golf, and you also
That's how you do it.
you teach
I do
cooking.
I do cooking classes.
Right. So, how did you get interested in cooking? Is it just you just had a passion for it?
I did. I worked in south of France
Right.
at a 3 Michelin star restaurant. We fed 10 people. It was 27 guys in the kitchen, and it was. It's been a passion since I started.
Right.
And I was very lucky to work with some of the top chefs in the country.
Julia Child.
Larry Forgione,
Larry Forgione.
Charlie Palmer, and Jonathan Waxman.
Yeah, Charlie.
They were like the
Palmer's there.
founders of in the 80s. None of you guys were born, including you.
That's true.
Wow.
But it's about making people happy.
Absolutely.
Food is about relationships, bringing people back, and not many places been open 20 years. We're doing a promotion to celebrate our 20th year open. We're doing 20% off Monday through Thursday. Not on the happy hour, obviously, but on the regular menu, just to give back to the customers that we've been open the door for so long.
It's nice.
And we want people to come back. 'Cause I think that in the 20 years that we've been open, I mean, 1/3 of that segment is to come here, moved away. Sadly, 1/3 of that population, I think, they passed away. So a lot of people were old.
Yeah.
So you got to go back and get the 2/3. I mean, and there are a lot of young chefs. There are a lot of great restaurants out there that are very competitive. So we want to try to stay within the reason of being competitive with them.
Your flavors are amazing, and you change the menu all the time. I love the fact that you have this vegan menu that
we're
people
doing
can order.
actually, that's been huge. We're doing vegan and vegetarian. People are eating healthier.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, I mean, in the 20s, 30s, we all ate very differently than when you get to the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s. And it's an investment.
Can I ask you if you have a gluten-free menu?
We have within the vegetarian, vegan, we got gluten-free. Yes, we do.
Okay, that's cool. My mom has celiacs, and I actually found out that I might have celiacs. I don't know. I took a blood test like 3 years ago. They said I didn't have it. My sister got tested for celiacs, and she was positive, and she had a genetic test to confirm it. And I was told from the geneticist that I should get a genetics test because I didn't get it. So I might be at risk for that. But I think having a gluten-free menu is very accommodating because celiac is a very...
I think that it's about the customer.
Yeah.
And I think that they thank you for that.
Yeah, they really do.
Like for the Jewish holidays, I create Nuevo Latino Jewish menu. I'll do like a macho tortilla soup, and people love it.
That's awesome.
And I bring the Jewish wines. I mean, we try to be part of every experience, every holiday. And people get excited about that.
People are so much more aware now of different allergies and celiac disease.
Yeah.
Like 2019, it's so different than it was 10, 20 years ago when you started. You probably never had to worry about those things before.
No, not at all.
It was just like you come in, you don't want it, you don't eat it.
That's
but now it's
pretty much
about
it.
accommodating, and people are more excited about it because, like, you just probably sold Peter and bringing his family here.
Oh yeah, definitely. My mom would love to come here. If my mom knows that like they're able to like put like gluten free on a menu to specify it, like she's all down. to
Yeah,
come here,
and all my menus
Yeah.
at the restaurants, you'll see the GF gluten free.
Yeah.
Right next to the
That's awesome.
some items
That
and
really
people, and it works. It works, and you're accommodating everybody without compromising anything.
Yes.
Right.
I love the atmosphere in here as well. It's really great.
We have jazz on Fridays.
And
then Sunday brunch.
Sunday
brunch.
brunch. I'm excited to come to that. Because there's not many places that have jazz
We got
and
jazz.
a good brunch at the same
We got
time.
jazz, and we do an Americana menu, which is your eggs Benedict, French toast with a Latin twist, and we have jazz. It's fun.
Yeah.
And you get a cocktail with any of the main courses.
Now, Rafael, if someone was to listen to the podcast that we're on right now, and you're going to tell them one dish, they're going to come out one time and try out the restaurant. What's the one dish you would recommend they have that you know that they're going to love?
I think you hit it right. The paella.
Yeah? It was good.
The paella is good. People love seafood,
Right.
and it's a nice treat to it.
Yeah. It's delicious. Did you win an award? What was it? Award? James Beard?
Many years ago, I won an award at the James Beard Foundation. Actually, I'm doing a new a dinner at the James Beard Foundation in October.
Wow.
I do it every now and then. It's good. I'm also a member of Latino U. We help Latinos go to college. This year, we help 48 kids go to college.
Wow.
Giving back. There you go.
Really giving back.
Every time you take one of those kids, you're saving 5 generations.
It's true. That's fantastic.
As Liz was saying,
love that.
you're so accomplished. So
Really
many
is.
restaurants, cookbooks, all these incredible feats that you've had.
Well, you know what his
What's
motto
the next-
is, right?
What's that?
Do it with a passion or not at all. Right?
That's your motto?
Right?
Yes.
Do it with a passion or not at all, right?
Yes.
Everything you do with a passion.
Look at you. Yes, she's right.
Well, isn't that it's the Latin?
No,
though.
but that's what it is.
Correct?
Yeah.
Right. You could tell he loves what he does. He really he oversees everything. The flavors that are in his food, I could never cook the way he
There's
cooks.
pride in every single
He's one of the
aspect
best
this
chefs in Westchester County. If you have not been to this restaurant yet, you need to come here. It is amazing.
What's next for you? Do you have plans for another restaurant or just growing?
No, right
or-
now we're staying
More
still. Golf.
Yeah. Good.
Golf
Yeah,
and
that's good.
meditation.
Wow. What kind of meditation?
Transcendental.
And more parties. He likes to do parties. He wants to do more parties. He likes to do more catering for parties.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He really has a special menu for that.
Wow.
And it encompasses everything. Especially some of his soups, remember?
Yes.
The lemongrass soup. Delicious. Shrimp and
I'm gonna
lemongrass
try
soup.
that.
Really
Again,
good.
we're at Sonora, at 179 Rectory Street in Port Chester. We're sitting down with Peter Clark-Deutsch, comedian and host of the 2 Mic Minimum podcast, and the owner, chef, writer, everything, Rafael Palomino.
Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
For Pride Month, we're doing raspberry mojito, and 20% of the proceeds is going to a special foundation.
So sweet. That is awesome, isn't it?
It's really
Like
That's
they
great.
said, live and let live, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Fabulous.
thank you for coming in. I
Thank you
appreciate it.
so much.
Thank you for
We
sitting
had
with
a
us.
great
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wow.
Really great.
This is fantastic, guys. How are we
I
doing?
don't think I've ever
losing track
met.
of time.
I don't think I've ever met a nicer man in my life.
Unbelievable.
Like wow.
Liz, you know the nicest people. You really do.
Because I'm a
And
nice person.
What I love about everything you've been doing, Liz, is you're really helping highlight and showcase some great personalities in Westchester, restaurants in Westchester, bands, comedians. Like, you're really giving people a platform that has not existed.
Thank you.
It has not lasted.
Thank you. That was the whole, mission behind forming this company, was to let people know where to go and what to do, because there's so much diversity in Westchester, and people should get out and enjoy themselves.
And enjoy Billy Bud's Pub in
Yeah,
New
definitely.
Rochelle. And get a dance from Gretchen.
I think we all should go. We should do a podcast there.
That would be
That would be
good.
fun.
People would click on that.
Yeah.
Out in Westchester.
I'll work on that. I'll
Billy
work on that
Buds.
one. I don't know what we're eating though.
No. I can think of some things. I'm not going to say them. Might not work out too well.
I don't know.
Was
Like
that
hot
bad?
dogs and asparagus.
Yeah. I'm excited that Peter
Some
Clark-Deutsch
pie.
is here. We actually have a huge contest going on.
They
at
probably have a lot of
Lucy's.
dessert there, like pie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bet the pie's really good.
Lucy's Laugh Lounge, we've actually got a summer-long contest. We're doing the Empire State Stand-Up Showdown, and by the time this comes out, Peter is in the preliminary round.
Yes.
We'll see if he's advanced. I hope he is.
You're gonna be there.
Yeah. My first show has already happened.
Okay.
It was this Friday.
All right.
And Liz, you were the judge at that.
I am gonna be the judge.
Really?
you-
what?
I was the judge.
You were the judge.
Oh,
I was the judge.
cool. Well,
Yeah, just
well,
because you're
good.
sitting here next to me doesn't give you any
I'm
brownie
glad.
points.
I'm glad I know a judge before the contest. Yeah, hopefully I'll go through and then I can be on.
We'll have another date to talk about
Yeah,
with you
definitely.
on it. So
fuck yeah.
with this contest, we accepted 72 comedians.
Oh wow, I didn't actually know how many comics were on
That's
We're
this.
almost
But
there already.
all right, yeah, awesome.
Submissions still coming in, and as long as we get to that 72, the grand prize is $1,200. And it's
That's a
3
lot of
rounds.
money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 comics advance from each preliminary round, and the preliminaries are hosted at Lucy's Laugh Lounge in Pleasantville, and then at Characters in Sloatsburg, which is actually a great restaurant and bar. A lot of like fun entertainment bands, trivia, stuff like that. And then after the semifinals are done, the finale is actually August 22nd at Levity Live in Nyack.
Okay.
So it's going to be very exciting. And Peter happens to be one of them. And did you do the
Yes.
contest last year?
I did not, because I was actually in Russia. I was abroad when it was happening, but I had a good friend who got to the finals.
Frankie?
Frankie got to the
Becerra.
finals. He's very funny. Also in the competition. Actually, he's in the preliminary round with me.
Yes.
Him and also my co-host Sean Barry.
Yeah.
And Sergeant Bill Cannon, I know, is in that
Oh,
round.
Liz, you know everybody in the
I do.
This is going to be tough for you.
No, whoever makes me laugh the most wins.
That's it?
That's
Yeah.
how it goes.
Yeah.
You have to make me belly laugh, which I do quite often, and I love to laugh.
Good.
You always have
Laughter-
a good time at Lucy's.
I do. I
Yeah.
love that place.
You saw Goomba Johnny. You saw
I
Fred
did.
Rubino recently, too.
I did. Laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you see Fred Rubino? Was it June 1st?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I wasn't there. So I opened for him twice.
Peter's worked 2 of his shows.
Yeah,
He
I
was
know.
hilarious.
Yeah.
The
He was really
very
good.
different styles of comedy.
Yes.
So it's always
Definitely.
fun to see.
It's always
Peter
fun
with
to
the
see just like a half Jewish opener for an Italian comedian. Just
Yeah.
you know.
Hello, I'm here. Happy to be here.
And Lucy's also has music on Friday or Saturday night, right?
Oh, yeah. And as we were
Yeah.
saying before, Duke of Duke's Laundromat runs the Tuesday Night Jam,
That's right.
which is free.
Right. So our next podcast coming up. You want to discuss that? We're going to have
Please, after you.
the director from Pleasantville Music Festival on to discuss the festival, which is going to be great. It's coming up on July 13th, and I can't wait to hear all about the festival and the bands coming on and all that other stuff. I'll put some promotional stuff out there on Facebook and all, but that should be a really great interview. I'm looking forward to that.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Do we have any top picks, Liz?
Oh, right. My top picks.
Top picks for the week.
Top picks for the week coming up, besides all the FDR Drive stuff that we
Yes.
just discussed. On Thursday, June 27th, we have Rumors at the Paramount Hudson Valley Theater, 8 p.m. On the 27th as well, on Thursday, is Felix and the Cats. They will host a block party and swing dancing at 8 p.m. at this restaurant called Moonlight in Mamaroneck. It's actually really fun. I mean, it's right on the street. It's like being in the Bronx almost, but they're a great band, and if you like sort of to dance and swing and something sort of more jazzy, that would be great for you. On 627, Tramps Like Us, it's a Bruce Springsteen cover band.
Yes.
They're playing at Playland at
They're
7
very good.
p.m. On that Friday at Rudy's in Sports Restaurant, Hartsdale on Central Avenue. They're doing a benefit for this little boy called Jackson DiDonna, who is battling brain cancer. The band that's playing for this charity event is Rocksteady. They're awesome. Music starts at 9:30. If you like to dance and listen to some popular music, they do a lot of weddings too, this band. I'd love to have them on in the
That's
future.
Mary.
Yes.
Mary's band.
Correct. So that's on Friday at Rudy's. It's a benefit for this little boy who has brain cancer at 9:30. And then the finale on Saturday is the Hudson Valley, New York Craft Beer and Food Festival, which is at Mayor's Park in Cold Spring, which is a little bit north, but Cold Spring's beautiful. That starts at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, and it goes all day. And they have music, and you get to taste all the New York beers, and they have vendors, and it's sort of like a big festival, and I thought that would be something kind of cool and unique for a Saturday
cool.
afternoon.
Yeah.
That's it.
Peter, you've been any place in Westchester recently besides Sonora's? Any restaurants you popped into? Any bands you've seen? Any?
I guess I just want to say that. I mean, you all like bagels, right?
Love bagels.
Yeah.
Hastings Own Bagel. Just gonna plug my hometown for a little bit. Hastings Own Bagel has the best bagel I've ever had, and they've been in business like for probably longer than here, like at least like 25 years. It's crazy because
Really?
This bagel place is amazing. It's been running for so long, which is really crazy in Hastings. Just with like everything in Westchester, like property taxes are so expensive, so it's so hard to keep a business going. The fact
As
that
we
this
found
bagel
out.
place has stayed in business for so long is really incredible. And honestly, like people who are from New York City, and I think people even from Long Island, like they're so territorial about their bagels. They're like, our bagels are the best.
Yeah.
No other place can make bagels better. Westchester, I mean, other places in Westchester make good bagels too, but Hastings Own, like, oh,
Hastings Own Bagel. You know
Hastings
why?
Own Bagel.
They're making money. They're rolling in the dough.
definitely, they definitely are. Yeah.
I always have.
There's the clip.
There
See,
it is.
now I can cater my set for the contest
Such
on
an old
Friday.
joke. I have all these old jokes. You guys always laugh at me. It's funny. So
Liz,
silly.
any place you've been to the last week?
Yeah, I was at the cabin in Valhalla. I guess it's White Plains. Talked to the owner there, Roger, for a little bit, trying to get him interested in our podcast. And he says they're busy and they don't really do a lot of entertainment there. They have a beautiful stone fireplace, and their happy hour is amazing. You get $5 pizzas and $5 wings. And then I think the wine is like $6 and the drafts are like $4, something like that. But we had a really nice conversation. That place has been there since like 1782. And
Whoa.
maybe it'll come on only because it's like one of the oldest places in Westchester that's still around. And he said George Washington, people used to, back from the colonial days, it's been there forever. People used to stop there on their way from New York City up to Albany. So I thought the history of it was really interesting. And it's changed quite a bit, obviously. It's gone through some renovations.
Oh, yeah.
But we had an interesting conversation yesterday. So I'm out there working every day.
I went to Aberdeen Dim Sum in White Plains
Yeah?
last week. Best dim sum, best dumplings I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, it's always Zagat rated. Zagat? What is it?
Zagat.
Zagat rated. It's so good.
You have to say with a French accent.
Zagat.
Zagat.
The pork soup dumplings are out of this world.
Really?
The roast duck are out of this world. It's really one of my favorite places to go to.
Uh-huh.
And the service is always good. They come around with the carts.
Yeah.
You know, you tell them what you have in there. You say what you want.
The food at the cabin is
Yeah, tell
also
me about it.
really great.
What'd you have?
They always have a soup of the day. We had a Cobb salad, and then we had these lamb sliders with a demi-glaze sauce. They were fresh. They melted in your mouth. They were amazing. It was great. And then they came with sweet potato fries.
Nice.
Really nice. Really best lamb sliders ever. Fresh, like off the bone, melted in your mouth. Really good.
Well, I think that just about does it. Again, we're here with Peter Clark-Deutsch. Check him out on Twitter at Clark-Deutsch P and his podcast, Two Mic Minimum Podcast. We were joined earlier by Neal of FDR Drive. Please check them out. Unbelievable band. And we were also joined by Rafael of Sonora, 179 Rectory Street in Port Chester, who was kind enough to host us. And we're also joined by our producer, Andrew Steiner. Told us a great story about Billy Buds and some wonderful ladies that he met last week in New Rochelle. Again, thanks for checking us out.
So
Out
Sonora
of Westchester
Restaurant,
podcast.
right? So Sonora Restaurant, 179 Rectory Street in
Yes.
Port Chester. Their happy hour again is from 4 to 8 every day. They have something special on the menu. Got to try their sangria for $7 or $6.
Yeah, very good.
Really good.
The paella.
They have a special drink menu that's phenomenal, and just try what you want to. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed here. Everything I've had here has just been so tasty and wonderful. So I want to thank them again, and Chef Rafael for having us, and thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
And we'll be talking about Pleasantville Music Festival next week.
Can't wait.
I know,
Thanks
me
for
neither.
checking us out
Yeah.
out in Westchester.
Bye.